So an interesting thing happened this morning that I was pushed to share. Um, as we were sitting as a family of 5 after breakfast, doing a little bit of a breathing and letting everyone express themselves, having a quiet minute. You could call it meditation if you wanted. We only started this pill, picked it up again in the last little while. Not that the craziness in the outside world this particular point in time, March 2020, is spearheading itself into our house or our lives, but definitely the children are picking up the vibe. So we thought we'd just add a bit of space into the morning, and before you get any pictures of 10-day silent Vipassana retreats and children sitting cross-legged with their fingers touching, going think again. We've got complete crazy family chaos as standard for 3 children under the age of 12. So yeah, no airbrushed Instagram stuff here. But my 8-year-old son, to get him more engaged in the process, he was given the opportunity to lead a little bit of a story, eyes closed, visualization, and he did something really interesting, which I wanted to share, because what was even more interesting than what he did was what I did with it, I thought. And so I'll just walk you through what he said. We were all sitting there with eyes closed, and he said, I imagine you're at the edge of a river, and there's a bridge across the river, and there's also a boat, and you can choose which one you want to take to get across the river. And then once you get to the other side, I'll put in brackets here, if you get to the other side, but he got us to the other side, so that means you get there. That's fun. Once you get to the other side, then there's a cliff in front of you. Anyone who's seen The Princess Bride knows exactly the sort of cliff I'm standing at the base of. And so you look up at the cliff, and you can either jump in the elevator, which is just there, and take the elevator up, or you can climb up by hand. And then you get up to the top of the cliff, and it turns out to be not as high as you thought it was. There's a bit of breeze there. And the river looks very enticing, and there's a deep spot in front of you. And so you jump off the cliff, down into the river, float up to the top, and that's where he handed it over to me, floating on top of the river after jumping off the cliff. And what I found fascinating, even more fascinating than his choose your own adventure style of a visualization meditation, was that my mind automatically chose not the bridge but the boat, for whatever reason. Like, you would think the bridge would be easier and less things could go wrong, which is, how I looked at it afterwards. And then standing at the base of the cliff, there's the elevator, and I climb it by hand. And so, without any judgment about a right or a wrong or an easy or a hard, I was just looking at that because it wasn't a conscious choice. As soon as he said it, I was where I was. I was in the boat. As soon as he said it at the cliff, I was already climbing it by hand. And I can insert whatever reason I want afterwards. Maybe the bridge would collapse. Maybe the elevator would break down halfway and I'd be stuck there. Your mental mind can have fun with it. But I thought it was really fascinating, the choices that I made. And why did I just automatically, what does that say about me in general? What does that say about me in that moment? Being able to sort of sit outside a choice as you're making it and observe the choice. Did you even make the choice, or did the choice make you? And anyone who jumped on my previous recording about the liver cleanse breathing exercise, that's all liver stuff in Chinese medicine and Zen, Japanese branch of it as well. The liver is the general. The liver and the gallbladder. That's where the decisions are made. The heart puts you on the path. The heart gives you the task, and then the liver decides how it gets done. So that they kind of go hand in hand, and green being the colour for Friday, it all kind of rolls together nicely, which is how life can work sometimes. Not always, but it's nice when it does. Well, I just thought I'd share that with you. When you get to the spot where you can sit outside of your thoughts and observe them as they are, your thoughts and your decisions, are you making a conscious decision or having a conscious thought, or is the thought having you? Is the decision already kind of pre-made? It's in your flow, and you'll justify it afterwards, or your mind will try and justify it afterwards. But when you really break it down, did you choose that, or did it choose you? Alright, I'll leave you with that. Happy Friday, or whatever day you're watching this. Lots of love.